I'm Phyllis. I live in my van.
Hello, my tribe. Thanks for being here. Today, we're going to talk about safety as a nomad and as a woman. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're thinking about being a nomad, you wonder about your safety. I don't see it as being a whole lot riskier, or if at all, than living in a house. If you think about it, if you're scared as a woman to live in a vehicle, I want you to really think about why. Because your fear might be amorphous. It might just be like a generalized fear. But I want you to really think about, what do you think is going to happen? And pin down what you really think the risks are. Because to me, it's not any riskier living this way, because my house, my van, has something that your house doesn't have, if you live in sticks and bricks, is a key to an engine. So if I get nervous, I put my key in the ignition and I leave. So to me, it's safer. And there have been times when I haven't felt super safe where I was, and I just leave. So that to me makes it a lot different. The main thing I will tell you, though, is to trust your instincts. If you don't feel right about a situation or a person, trust your instincts. I was at a campsite the other night, and there were 3 of us there. And I had noticed earlier that there were some teenagers driving around in pickup trucks, and the later it got, the stupider they were driving. And I saw a potential problem. Those boys were going to get drunk, and I didn't know what they were going to do. And honestly, if I'd been there by myself, I would have left. It was a Thursday night. If it was a Friday night, I probably would have left anyway. But I saw a risk. Drunk teenagers, that's what I saw. And I was talking to the other 2 ladies, and one of the ladies, oh no, there's a police station down the road, and I don't think there's going to be a problem at all. And I'm not saying there was definitely going to be a problem, but if there's a potential for a problem, why risk it? And the other lady said, yeah, if your spidey sense is activated, you should listen to it. And don't think that you can't figure out why you feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, there's a reason. It's just that your brain hasn't put it all together yet. But that basic part of your brain has figured out that there's danger, that animal part of your brain, and you should listen to that. That is the biggest thing that you can do for your own safety, living in a vehicle and being a nomad. It really is the biggest thing. Always trust it. I don't care if there's a pretty little 6-year-old girl there that you get a weird feeling about. Don't trust it. Always trust your instincts first. If you've got the little hairs going up on the back of your neck, listen to it. It's important. So those are the biggest things. But there are some, sorry, there's a fly pestering me. There's definitely other little things you can do. I know a lot of women put like an extra pair of shoes outside of their van, or an extra chair, so people think that there's a man staying with them. And I get why they do that, because I think it is true that if someone's looking to cause mischief, if they see a woman alone, they might think that person is more vulnerable. But I honestly am not sure that fools anyone, because if they're watching you, they're going to notice there's not a man around. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying it's not something that I do. But you should definitely be wary. I when I'm stopping somewhere at a campground, if I see mostly single men, I won't stop there. I won't camp there. If I see couples or some women, some couples, and some single men, that's cool for me. But if you see a bunch of single males, I mean, there's a possibility they're there, just to drink a lot. And let's face it, men and booze and doesn't always create a safe situation. I've talked to a lot of other nomads, females who don't like to camp completely by themselves, like where you can't see anyone else. But I honestly think that in a lot of situations, I'm safer that way than I am around other people if I just don't feel comfortable around those other people. On the other hand, if you're going to be around other people, be around a lot of other people. That might sound odd, but people will notice mischief if you're around a lot of people. And that usually means you're packed in tighter, and they'll kind of notice your routines. And that can actually add to safety. If you do camp around other people, if you see another female or a couple, introduce yourselves. And they'll just notice if there's something going on. But honestly, don't be afraid necessarily to camp completely by yourself. But if you notice someone coming up in the middle of the night, or something doesn't feel right, just put your key in the ignition and leave. And that's all you have to do. Really, it's not rocket science. If you're planning on camping at BLM land or National Forest land, something like that, and you haven't been there before, I would definitely recommend you don't wait until late in the day to find your campsite. Ideally, you want to get there by 3 and 4 o'clock at the latest. You don't want to be trying to be driving down iffy roads and find your spot after dark or even at dusk. You can get yourself into trouble. Roads are bad. Or maybe you get there and there's just not space and you have to turn around and go find another site in the evening. So I definitely recommend going early. On the other hand, if you're going to be staying at a rest area or a truck stop, both of which I highly recommend, I think those are great to get to after dark. If I'm going to stay overnight at a Walmart, I will get there right after dark and just turn the key off and not leave my van that night. Put up my window covers and go to bed. That way people can't see that you're a single female. And then you can do your shopping at Walmart in the morning. Thank you, Walmart. Love my Walmart. As far as a rest area, I will come in maybe in the afternoon if I can't get there later in the evening and go out, use the restroom, whatever, and then close up before it gets night. I might move a little bit, but people tend to come and go at rest areas. And if you want, there's usually at least one other van or an RV there, and park near them. And if you see them outside, say hello. It's really a good idea to meet your neighbors if you feel unsafe. This sounds like an obvious thing, and it probably is, but I thought I'd go ahead and mention it. If you have your door open, door closed, your big door, lock your vehicle. Even if there's no one else around, just lock it. Why not? And if you do have your door open, look outside before you open your door and just be more aware than you are when your door is closed and your vehicle's locked. I haven't said anything today about animals, There's so many videos about safety when you're hiking and bears, coyotes, things like that. And I'll leave it to those experts. I'm not an expert about bears. But I think that's not the big fear that most women have. I think for most women, it's about being afraid of men, being attacked and robbed and things like that. So that's what I've talked about today. And I'm sure I've forgotten some things. And if you have questions about things I didn't address, fears that you have about being on the road, please just comment. I'd love to hear your questions and try to answer them. And thanks so much for watching. I love y'all. Bye.